It would be great if we could start the conversation off with the term ethical non-monogamy. It would be great if you could explain to me what your understanding of that term is and explain to our listeners if they don't know what it means.
Yeah, ethical non-monogamy. So let's just break it down. So being monogamous is kind of seen as being with one partner. That's your life partner that you spend the rest of your life with. You don't share outside of it. You stick with each other. And then you've got ethical non-monogamy, where it's ethical. It's all about communication. It's about trust. And it's non-monogamy. It's believing that sharing your sexual life with others outside of your primary partner.
So there's two parts then. So there's the ethical part, which I think is important to hone in on, that some people may feel confused about that in terms of where cheating, for want of a better word, falls. That would presumably be non-ethical in these terms. So cheating is not the same as ethical non-monogamy.
Yeah, there are two different things. This is the thing, cheating is you're playing behind your partner's back and you're not, you're telling lies, you're sneaking out, you're kind of doing your own thing. You could say, very humorously that you are non-monogamous because that's what you're doing, right? You're playing outside of the primary partner. But, this is the thing about being ethical about it. And it can be seen as two different things. Yeah, cheating, you're lying, you're going behind your partner's back, you delete the text messages, you don't tell them, who you've met, how you feel about somebody. And then you've got the ethical side of kind of going to your partner and going, hey, these guys interest me, this person interests me. Just want to get your thoughts and feelings on it and see where it goes. I think the ethical part, if you had to wrap it up, it's communication, right?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of it boils down to healthy, open communication. And that in itself is a whole conversation about how do you even go about starting that up. But tell me a bit more about how you feel about monogamy, because I would imagine most people know a lot more about what that means and what your take on where we are in society with monogamy, how you feel about that term and the fact that it's a social construct.
Yeah, I've got my own opinions on it.
Please share them. I'd love to hear them.
I'm going to dive into it. Yeah, let's get absolutely rebellious about it.
That's what we're here for. Yeah.
I do firmly believe humans are not designed to be monogamous. I believe that because the research that I've done and just being obviously a man myself and speaking to other men and other women about it, you look at the divorce rate now in the UK, it's hovering around about 40-45%.
That's high.
It is high. Yeah, it is high. The chances of getting divorced are really, really high. And the second reason, the biggest reason for divorce in the UK is, adultery.
Infidelity,
and all that sort of good stuff, using the old quotation marks there as well. So we have to look at it and go, well, why is this the case? Why are we doing this? Because, we watch movies where the fairy tale is you get married, you get the white picket fence, and you have the perfect family and you grow all together. But realistically, I've been out sometimes in Leeds and I've walked past a group of women and they're like, oh my God, he's fit. Oh my God, he's sexy. Not to me. But, the window
I'm sure you get your fair share of attention.
They are window shopping. Guys do the same. If you look at the aspects of when people drink, they kind of loosen up a little bit and then do things that they shouldn't be doing. Now, if we was designed to be monogamous and find that one life partner to spend the rest of your life with, would our brains think that way? I don't believe so. We have to strip back everything, take away everything you own, the clothes on your body, all the jewelry. Go look at the human body. Look at the way it's wired. Man is designed to spread the seed. Women are designed to nurture and raise, right? And that's what it comes down to. We can look at men, we can look at women, and we can get that instant attraction and go, but inside our brains, that's just doing something. That's absolutely primal.
So just to clarify, the primal bit is to feel attraction to multiple people.
Well, yeah, is
to want to perhaps partake in sexual activities with multiple people. It sounds like you're saying monogamy is going against a natural, innate tendency.
Yeah,
for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
If we roll back history, you think the caveman was dedicated to one woman? Nah, they just wanted to plant the seed, right? And it'd be one woman after another, and wherever they could put it in, they would do. We move forward in history. If you look at non-monogamy, perfectly normal, right? Look at the Roman Empire, orgy central.
Yeah.
They did what they wanted to do. If you look at how marriage formed with the elite in terms of keeping empires together, properties together, wealth mainly, and
religion.
Slowly over time, kind of the middle class and lower class adopted that. And it just became a thing that turned about love and not about contracts, about assets and wealth. And people roll with it. And obviously movies come out and you believe it.
Yeah. Well, because, yeah, sorry to cut over you. It feels like, that years ago, however many decades or centuries ago, it wasn't marrying for love, like you say. It was marrying for a merging of financial security, status in society. Love was the least of the concerns when you were marrying. But yeah, definitely monogamy born out of that change in society where people started to place a lot more emphasis on contracts and agreements and security rather than loving freely, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
So sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. I was going to say that's where I stand with it. I firmly believe it, and I will happily debate anybody that wants to try and argue against that we're meant to be monogamous. It's like, we're not.
Come on.
Come on.
I'll take anybody on. But it's wonderful that you're so passionate about it, because clearly it comes from a lot of research, a lot of life experience, I'm sensing. So can you tell me a little bit about your own story? I know that you're married to the lovely Olivia, and you've been together a long time. Before you entered into this world, were you in monogamous relationships?
Yeah, so me and Olivia, that's my girl, we met actually allegedly underage drinking in Leeds City Centre, all right? And I say allegedly.
So no one's going to be knocking down your door, I don't think.
Yeah, and I was in the army at the time. I was 17, Olivia was 16. And we feel like we just kind of grew up together. But the whole thing of thinking if we're monogamous or non-monogamous never was a question, because I was away with the army all the time. She was working. We had a family very young, and life just took over. So it was never a question about if we was monogamous or not non-monogamous. And there was this one time we had sex, and we always considered ourselves dirty vanillas, which was like, we have sex, like really good, passionate sex together, in the car, out in the woods, in the bedroom. We'll do it in the kitchen if we've got 5 minutes. Like, we didn't care. We thought we were freaky. And we had sex one time, and we just done a bit of pillow talk, and we've always been quite open about talking about sex.
Yeah.
And I posed the question of, do you have an interest in women? And she sat there a little bit quiet, munching on her lips, like, I don't think I've told you this before, but I've actually had an experience with a woman way before I met you. And I just kind of was like, what? Excuse me?
That come as a shock.
It wasn't a shock. It was like are you telling me this really? Like, I know she had ex-boyfriends, like it's no biggie, but for a woman, kind of, in that sense, it was like, oh, I never think this would be a thing. Like, it never processed through her mind that she could be with another woman. And she told me this story about it. And oh my goodness, my brain chemistry changed, and we rode this wave for like 6 weeks and fantasizing about it. And we couldn't just kind of get enough of each other. And we was like, there's something here, And the more we spoke about it, and the more like it got us turned on, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, could this happen for real? Do people actually do this? Do people have threesomes, foursomes? Like, do they? It's stuff that you see on, porn websites, but is it real life that you do for yourself? And I asked her, would you want to do this in real life? And she was serious about what I was saying. And she was like, I think I would, but I don't feel like I want to do it on my own. I want to do it with you.
Okay.
And that threw me off, because I'm like, right, what do I say? Because if I'm like, let's do it, is she going to take it the wrong way? If I'm like, it might go against what she wants.
Well, it's uncharted territory in many ways.
Absolutely, yeah. But we spoke through it, and we kind of agreed that we'd try, at least, to find somebody that would be into a couple. Where do we start? I don't know. But we wanted to do it.
Where did you start, can I ask?
Yeah, well, it was really funny, because when I was in the army, I was doing a night shift, and I was telling a friend, "Oh, you'll never guess what, boys! I've hit the jackpot here. I've won the lottery." And this one guy went, "Hey, you need to try this website." Now, I'm not gonna mention it, because it is unsafe. Cool. It is unsafe. I don't want anybody to come on there and harm themselves. There was this website, and it was a swinging website, and we was absolutely taken back of how many people was living this lifestyle. Like, we couldn't believe the amount of people that was in our area, the amount of people in different cities, even like, I live in Lincolnshire, even like the smaller villages, people are doing it, and you kind of question yourself, going, "Are we the odd ones out here? Are we not? Are we missing out?
Is that our next door neighbours?"
Yeah. So we kind of built a profile, and we tried to find a single woman. Now, single women are called unicorns in the lifestyle. And when I say lifestyle, it's like the swingers lifestyle.
So swingers, sorry, just to cut in, that is a term under the umbrella of ethical non-monogamy.
Yeah. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit. So if I can tell you where my mind's at. So we've got this massive umbrella of ethical non-monogamy. And underneath it for me sits swinging, polyamory, relationship rebellion, all these different terms that we have fit under ethical non-monogamy because it's non-monogamous, it's ethical, but everything else has different dynamics underneath the umbrella.
Ethical non-monogamy or consensual non-monogamy, something in that realm, which is the umbrella term.
Is the umbrella term.
Variations sit underneath it.
Yeah, that's how I feel because, like swinging, it's ethical. You're doing it with your partner. It's non-monogamous. Polyamory, again, you've got a primary partner. If you're a couple and you kind of communicate, hey, we want a girlfriend, we want a boyfriend, and then you go do it together, so it's ethical, but it's still non-monogamous.
May lead to more emotional bonds in that polyamorous setting than in the swingers.
But it's still ethically non-monogamous because you are sharing, yourself with other people than what your primary partner is. Just to go back to what I was saying, so I had a quick side note there. Unicorns, yeah. So we tried to find a single woman. They're called unicorns. And they basically, the swinging lifestyle coined this term for single women because they are rare and mystical. You don't come across them often, right? So I was like,
I get it.
And, we faced that fact. We couldn't find a single lady at all.
So many reasons why I'm sure why that would be.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how fast times have changed as well because let me tell you something. They shouldn't be called unicorns anymore.
So we've got to think of a new term.
Yeah. We this couple messaged us and they sent a real other message and they sent face pictures and it was really funny because I speak to this guy at work. He was a contractor and we hit the ground running. We got on really well, and I was like, oh my god, I did not know you did this. He went, I've been doing this for years. Where have you been? I went, I've just found out about it. And we just got chatting. We set up a WhatsApp group. And it would, I could put my trust in him and I know he trusted me and the girls got on really well and it just felt nice and natural. And we was talking for 6 weeks on WhatsApp. And from there, he was like, hey, do you want to come up for drinks? Cool. And it's just drinks. Don't have any expectations. It's just that first step. We know you're new. Let's get going. I will cut a long story short. That was the first time I saw Olivia with a woman. And that was the first couple swap we ever had. And from that moment, my brain chemistry changed again, so much so that I didn't want to go to work. Olivia didn't want to go to work. And me and Olivia had this new level of love that we never thought existed. And we just wanted to be around each other all the time. And we quickly figured out sleeping with other people is not the bug or the hook of what we do. It's the after effect that you have with your own partner, the addictive part.
Wow. That might surprise a lot of people. Yeah. As I'm hearing you speak, it's like a strengthening, a deepening of a bond between the two of you.
Do you know, it's like going through the honeymoon period all over again, but it's how the best way to explain it is it's the honeymoon period happening every second. That feeling, and it just goes and goes and goes. And naturally, as humans, obviously, that feeling does naturally just kind of go, right, we've done it, we're back to normal now. But then you go do it again, and it goes, and that's the part that really hooks you in to the lifestyle.
So when you say your brain chemistry changes, it feels to me like you start to feel very excited about the anticipation of that feeling, experiencing that feeling, and then knowing that it's something that you can go back to as often as you want. I wouldn't necessarily say the word addicted to that feeling, but you like the feeling.
Yeah.
It's like a happy, healthy, feel-good experience. Why would you not want to go back to that?
Yeah, I guess. In my head, someone could come to me and go, what you're doing is wrong. And I would be there going, this don't feel wrong. Like, I am happy. I am happy. I'm healthy. Me and my wife are doing fantastic. Do not tell me. And I would fight anybody.
You could say thriving. You're thriving.
Absolutely,
together. Yeah. And I think, who's anyone to say to anyone else, you can't have that. If you're happy, healthy, thriving, and continuing to regularly check in, talk, communicate, enjoy that lifestyle, then that's wonderful.
Yeah. Really? One of the biggest things for me and Olivia, we've always said this, is we truly have learnt the art of communication. Yeah. Because I firmly believe as well, couples don't talk about sex enough. And it's one of the hardest subjects to talk about, what you actually want in the bedroom, because people feel ashamed or they don't want to be chastised for it, or people think that they're a bit a dirty bugger and whatnot. But once you talk about the toughest subjects, I always say about filling a cup. That's the top cup, and it just spills over onto the other cups. And me and Olivia now, before the little things about not emptying the dishwasher, way back in the day, which used to be frustrating, doesn't seem like a big issue right now, because we just learn the art of communication and what makes us tick and what doesn't.
Absolutely. And that's a really interesting point, because I think thinking about the listeners, I think what you're describing sounds absolutely wonderful, truly. But like most things in life, I'm sure there are challenges. And for you to overcome those challenges, it does take courage and the art, as you say, of conversation. And I sometimes think about how people might struggle with their, let's say, monogamous current partners, effectively communicating. If you then think about opening up your relationship and you're not confident with the way you communicate currently, that feels a bit precarious to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we always say this as well. People will use the lifestyle almost as a plaster to fix their own relationships or marriages. Now, if somebody doesn't have already them communication gates open, like me and Olivia, for example, it's easy for me to sit here and say we just got into it because we spoke about it, but I'm not naive, where I know there's a lot of married couples out there that don't talk about it at all. I know there's married couples that have sex once a month and one of the partners is like needing more, but the other one's not that interested. And I get that.
So common.
It's so common. But I think if people are going, do you know what, this is really what I want to do, but I know my partner's not into it. I always say people that want to do it, they almost have I'm not going to say selfish attitude because that's the wrong word, but I'm going to say it anyway because I can't think of anything else.
Maybe a healthy selfish.
Yeah, possibly. It's kind of like, this is what I need. This is what I need. This is what I need. And do you know
I think we should. Yeah. I think it's okay to validate putting your needs up there in terms of it's okay to want to explore what you think is going to make you feel good, explore your own pleasure, your desire, etc.
100%.
It's not wrong. So that's why I make the distinction. Like healthy selfish feels like a permission-giving term to say, no, you are allowed to prioritize yourself.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. My messages are full of married men, that are asking me, hey, I want to have a threesome with another woman. Yeah. But my wife, she's kind of like really against it, against sex, or I just don't speak to her. And I turn around and I say, hey, all right, that's cool. Just to get into the mindset of your wife, asking for another woman to come into the bedroom is going to ring a lot of alarm bells because she's going to think, why am I not good enough? Am I not doing something right? I went, how about this? What about you start off with another guy? And 80% of them go, oh, Gage, hold on a second. I'm like, hey, can you see what the deal is?
Yeah.
Can you see where the issue is, what you're talking about right now? Or wanting something and you're not considering your partner's thoughts and feelings because it's what you want. If you flip it around, but you tackle it together, tackle it as a team, both communicate what you need, but don't be afraid to open the floodgates and offer something that you might be a little bit scared of because she's just as scared too. And that'll put you in a right frame of mind of how to approach something.
I really like that way of approaching it because often, like you say, even though I just said healthy selfish, we can maybe get a little bit too entrenched in what we want and not empathize and put ourselves in our partner's shoes. So yeah, that flip, especially for heterosexual men, I can see how that would be like, whoa, steady on. But that's very much what she is potentially going through.
Yeah, I say all the time, you're ringing major alarm bells in people's heads. What's less likely a threat? Another guy coming in? Or another woman, because she's going to feel like, is she going to be replaced? Are you not satisfied? And that's just the way that I like to use that terminology in that sense to get me in the mindset of like approaching conversations.
I think that's a really helpful and healthy way to approach it. You've been in this swinging lifestyle for roughly how long now?
Oh, do you know what? I think I've lost count if I'm being honest with you. About
like
8 years. 8 years. Around about 8 years.
A long time.
A long time.
Yeah. And so what we're talking about is a potentially very emotive subject for a lot of people. Our listeners might also be thinking, God, I've been thinking about this for years and never had the courage to say. And getting over the first hurdle, which is a wonderful example I've just given of how to be compassionate, be empathetic, be open, try not to be afraid with opening up the conversation, see where it leads. But then say you do open up the conversation, it goes well, you get into a form of ethical non-monogamy. And then one or the other of you starts to feel envious or jealous or insecure. Over the 8 years plus, have you ever experienced that? Has Olivia ever experienced that? I know you can't talk for her necessarily, but how do you overcome those challenges if you start to feel those feelings?
Yeah. Anybody that says we don't get jealous is lying. because it's a natural human emotion, right? It's like saying, I don't get happy. Yeah, you do. Stop lying to yourself. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. Now, it's kind of how you put it into context, right? For example, Olivia goes off and plays solo with another guy.
Okay.
Now, this feeling I get in my belly, am I jealous that she's gone off for a day out? Am I jealous that she's doing something without me? What's the feeling that you get when you see your partner with somebody else? Now, we all use jealousy, but actually, take the word jealousy, what is it? It's kind of like I said, envious, right? Your friend has got a new car. You're a bit jealous. He's got a new car, right? We go through these feelings, and there's an element, and I think, especially for men, no, I'll take that back, for both men and women, is that you get a feeling, I think it's a primal feeling of when you've got a partner that you've got this connection with and they're going off with somebody else. Now, do you know what happens in the body when that happens?
It's like a fight or flight response or something, is it? Oh.
There's more to that. Yeah.
Okay.
What happens is, so let's say, you've got a man and a wife, and the wife goes off and plays off with another guy. This guy will have the biggest adrenaline rush. He will feel a slight bit of anger. He will feel this knot in his stomach. His balls will bulge. And the reason why that's happening is because there is competition going on where the feelings your primary partner's going on, your sperm count rises, your semen rises, you start producing like these emotions, testosterone levels, because what it comes down to is who is going to be planting the seed? Primal.
Okay, so it goes back to that physiological innate
It does,
response.
yeah. I'll tell you this for a fact. I know if Olivia went to go play solo, when she comes back, I don't know how graphic I can get into with this podcast.
Please, no, speak freely. Yeah, speak freely.
I know I come bucket loads more than what I do day to day.
Okay, yeah.
Scientifically proven as well, right? So it's you've got to look into it and go, this is how we feel now. Jealous. Is it jealousy? We always just use that term, but there's more to it in that sense. Yeah.
I mean, like you said before, it is an emotion, and I think it can be a healthy one, alerting us to something feels off. So your example of it being a physiological response, it's more than jealousy. I think that's great to include in the conversation, but also there are a lot of emotional processes going on there too, right? Yeah. So it's like we'd ride out feeling anger. It doesn't mean it's a call to action and we have to go and tear up the room. We can feel jealous, but allow the feeling to be there and use it as a precursor for like, what's going on for me?
Yeah.
And usually in my experience, it brings up something like insecurity. I don't know if you'd agree with that, or something around a processing of your responses, your values being tested. Or something. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
It's I remember really analysing myself when this happened before, and it's kind of, what am I feeling right now? Let's actually look at it. And the adrenaline rush was there. It felt like I had a knot in my stomach. It felt like my balls were absolutely bulging at the same time. It wasn't a case of where I was going, I really enjoy this. This is really nice. There was a little bit where I'm going, I don't like this. What the fuck? He's got
yeah.
But it's kind of like learning to cage that emotion and just hold it. Just hold it, because when Lily came back, say that again.
Is that what it passes? There's an arc, or are you saying that it does sort of die down a bit, or is that not the case?
It will. When you come, everything dies down, right? You're just back to just being absolutely fine. Yeah. So refresh.
Thanks for that. Bye.
No, there is. I think at the start of kind of when you think about it, it builds up, and I think it's depending on your thought process, because mine goes a bit more sexualized. I'm like, you dirty girl, look at you going out there, X, Y, and Z. But I think if you took it more of a negative mindset of going, how could she do this? And you go into the insecurities, it can quickly become something very disastrous. And it's about learning basically how you control it is through the art of communication with Olivia, putting in boundaries and rules to make us both happy and understand what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen when it ends. I know what happens when she gets there, during, and when it ends. So for me, it's easy to deal with. When you don't have control of that, you're like, and it can go a little bit sour.
I mean, you mentioned the word boundaries though, and I think that's a really important point to pick up on. Within the art of communication, a lot of what you're doing is establishing your contract, I suppose, your no-goes, your what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. I guess that's all part of the rich conversation, I guess, is being open enough to say, this is where I think I draw the line with being comfortable or uncomfortable. What are your thoughts on that whole boundary setting conversation?
Boundaries are super, super, super important. We always say to people, especially new guys coming into the lifestyle, talk about your fantasies all you want, right? But what people don't talk enough about is their boundaries. And it's really funny, actually, because a big boundary for newbies is kissing. but they're happy to have sex with other people.
Yeah. Well, it's seen as a lot more intimate, I think, in many ways by a lot of people.
It depends. Yeah, it's kind of, holding hands, snuggle in bed after you've had sex. There's loads of these different things that you can put in. And it was the same with me and Olivia as well. Don't be cuddling after you've had sex. Okay, we're cool with that. It's a good way to get started. Don't be holding the hand afterwards. Don't be all lovey-dovey and whatnot. It's kind of, we've done our part. We've had a good time, and then it's back to being us two again. But the boundary situation, we tell a lot of newbies that you should make fake scenarios. And it's not about how you're feeling. Make fake scenarios. Well, how would you feel, like, let's say, for example, we were going out for dinner and then he run his hand up my leg. How does that make you feel? Well, if it makes you feel bad, that's a boundary, right? But if it makes you go, you're good to go. And we tell people boundaries change all the time. And I'm a firm believer in that you are more scared of your thoughts than the action itself.
Yeah.
Your mind can create a really wicked story in your head. And it can go really wrong in your head.
We're very creative creatures, right?
Yeah,
come up with all of the worst case scenarios, potentially.
Yeah, and when you have these experiences, these boundaries, some people slip up now and again just through just being in the moment. And then they turn around and go, well, it wasn't that bad actually, was it? No. It was the thought of it is more dangerous than the actual action. Yeah, boundaries all in all, everybody should have them. People, people stick to them. Some people don't, and the goalposts move all the time.
I'm sure they do. It's an important point. They're fluid. The boundaries are a regular conversation, I guess, and they can change, and it's okay if they change, I guess, as well.
100%.
Yeah. Part of me is so curious now to put this in the context of the Channel 4 documentary. I would describe it. What do you call it? Reality TV? I think it's both.
Yeah.
Definitely a learning experience. Exactly. So that's the Open House, the Great British Sex Experiment. Like, you were already in the swinging community before that. How did that come into being? How did that happen?
Yeah, so me and my wife Olivia started creating TikTok videos shortly during COVID, actually. Olivia's cabin crew, she lost her job.
Right.
And we just bought a house, and it was like, how do we pay for this mortgage now? The army doesn't pay great. It was like, let's tackle social media. Let's try and make money from that, right? What do we know what to do? Swing. Like, okay.
What's in our wheelhouse?
What's in our... We had a conversation of like, are we going to do this? Yeah, we'll go for it. Now, for me, I've always been kind of interested. I'm a marketing guy. Right now, when I was in the army, I'm like a full stack marketer. I've learned everything over years because that's just my natural passion of like, how do I spread a message to people? Olivia's got a really pretty face. And we said,
she has indeed.
What? We did a bit of research. There was no one in the UK talking about the lifestyle, the swingers lifestyle. In the UK, you had the Americans doing it, but I felt it was a little bit seedy and pushing it over to like adult subscription platforms. And I went, let me try and brand this for the first time.
Well, you spotted a very noticeable and obvious gap. And I think because of what you were experiencing in terms of how much positive impact it's having on you, it's like, I'm going to be an ambassador for this, is what it feels like. I'm going to be the one to start more conversations about this.
And, it started off with like, I think it was like an iPhone 8. I don't know, just kind of an iPhone 10, and we had this makeup mirror with bulbs on it for lighting, and it was just talk about what we know. What's a unicorn? What's a bull? What's a MFM? How do you do X, Y, and Z? And overnight, it was just a huge success because what we quickly found out was people are having the same conversations that me and Olivia were having, 2 years prior from doing this TikTok when we wanted to get into the lifestyle. People was coming to us because they couldn't find the right information online. So we went from like zero to hero pretty much, just with a click of a finger. How did it come to Open House? They reached out to us on Instagram and they said, look, we love what you guys do. We really, really do. Do you just want to apply to be on Open House and we can just have a meeting and we'll see where we go from there? I was like, why not? We applied. We had a meeting. We had 2 meetings, via Zoom. And then next thing there was like, hey, you're on the show as a resident. And it was like, what? Like, I've just watched season 1. But like we just do TikToks and Instagram reels. We want us to be on a TV show. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go.
I bet you were kind of like, wow, bloody hell.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. For the size of what Open House is, we've done other TV shows before, but they've always been like, you film for a day, you tell your story, and it's kind of like, I won't say the same old, but it was the same. But with Open House, you're on set for 3 weeks, you're filming, you're having real interactions with couples that you've never seen before in your life,
and they're being filmed intimately.
And it's a strange environment because when you get there on day one, You look around, you're like, God, these cameras are everywhere. You know, they've got static cameras, they've got cameramen, they've got sound in. But after like day 4, they just go invisible because you're just so used to them being there. But would I lie to you if I said, you know, the first couple of days, there's an element of like, I'm on TV because this is going to be national and whatnot.
Oh, of
And
course.
after day 4, you just relax and you just be your natural self because you forget, you're just in like an environment that you're comfortable with.
Well, what sort of led to me reaching out to you, and by the way, I think everyone who is in the house as a resident, they're all wonderful people. I've got so much respect and I'm inspired by all of them. But you in particular, and Olivia, I really liked how you were with all of the new couples coming in. You had this warmth, you had this patience, you had this really quiet confidence in guiding people through the experience. And if I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but you and Olivia, between you, generally got picked quite a bit to be part of people's experiences, which I thought was wonderful. It clearly says something about you two as individuals.
We did on season 2. And I think what it comes down to is what we noticed with the other residents, they were well experienced in the lifestyle. And, you know, it's like they know what they want. And it's like, this is what we're into. We're into bang, 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 bang. And for a new couple coming onto the house, it's like, you know, and me and Olivia, you know, we always say, look, our boundaries are your boundaries. What is it you want? What do you want out of this? You know, we're just happy to be here, right? We're happy to see you thrive. We want to make sure that you walk away the happiest ever. Now, we have a choice if we want to go down that road with them or not.
Well, of course. Yeah.
It's not like we're getting paid to just sling dick left, right, and centre, but it's kind of...
Yeah, I've seen episodes where people have been turned down respectfully because the individuals that they were asking didn't feel that connection.
One thing with Open House, which I do wish they shared more, was the time that you spend with these people.
Okay.
They cut it down a lot, but then again, it's TV. You don't want to watch someone having a 4-hour, 5-hour conversation, right? It can get quite boring.
It's a shame because that's the bit that you're working on the whole time by chatting and spending time together.
Yeah, but yeah, they cut it down into minutes, and that's one thing that they don't show. Season 2 were a blast, and season 3, you know, it's just finished on Friday.
Oh, is it the last one this Friday?
No, it was last Friday. Yeah,
was it last Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say if there's a season 4 in the pipeline?
I don't know.
Maybe. Going back to the connection part, that's what really struck me. I mean, I think a lot of people, and please correct me if I'm wrong, instantly go to social constructs about monogamy being right and ethical non-monogamy being wrong or very different. There's so many values that are being tested, belief systems that are being challenged. And it's all about the sex, which I know it is kind of all about the sex, sort of. But what I really like was actually what you've just said about all of the editing. It's a shame you didn't show the conversations. You and Olivia and most of the residents, I think, always talk about connection. And that's not talked about enough, I don't think. Because yes, it's connection sexually, but so much of it is, can we feel a bond, a vibe? That's a word that's used a lot, isn't it? Can we feel that mutual attraction? And that surpasses just the sexual act. Yeah. For that time you're together, you're actually forming that bond.
Yeah, you know, for me and Olivia, we find attraction not just through looks, but, you know, for example, on season 2, there was Ben and Jess. And, you know, when we first saw Ben and Jess, you kind of look at them and you kind of go, we are all different people from different walks of life. You know, it's not like we're both like rugby players, like the size, and you kind of go, oh, go rugby. I'm 6'1". You know, Ben's, I don't know, he's a lot shorter than me. Yeah, Jess is kind of like a little bit of a nose, and Olivia's she's got a big energy about her. But when you get to spend time with Ben and Jess, you'll find out they're the funniest pair of people you'll ever meet in your life. They are absolutely hilarious. And all they need to do is meet somebody to lower that guard down, right? And that was our connection. That's what we was attracted to, how we was bouncing jokes off each other. You know, and everybody was talking and everybody was listening and the humor was there. And for us, me and it was like, yes, these guys are the ones. This is the connection that we needed. And you are right. I've come across 11 out of 10s, you know, in the swinging world, but they can only talk about the gym. And for me, I'm not really a gym goer, but where's that connection? Yeah, you might be pretty, but I need a little bit more in that sense. So majority of people do go for connection. Is there some people that base it off looks and just don't care about anything else? I'm going to be naive and say no. Yeah, well, yeah, they are. But connection for me is huge, absolutely huge.
And I think it provides a valuable opportunity for people to explore what connection is, how nuanced connection is. It's not just about platonic friendship versus sexual relationships. There's so many levels of connection in between. And what I love about the ethical non-monogamy community is it's just so inviting, so welcoming, so freeing and liberating. It's really, people are still themselves, but they're held, they're nurtured, they're respectful. And I'm sure, yeah, of course, there's going to be, put any group of people together, there's going to be some drama from time to time. But it's just so inclusive. And I think that's so wonderful for people to think about. Just the fact that it's not just, for some people, it might just be, like you say, all about sex. But for other people, it's the whole process of meeting new people, connecting, finding shared interests, laughing together, spending time together, and then taking it to a sexual level too. But then friendships can form and blossom. You can have regular play partners, I'm understanding. So you build your community so wide.
You find your tribe. You literally find your tribe.
And we're obsessed with being in this teeny weeny little tribe of like 2 people.
Yeah.
It's like, we need not to quote... Place. We need like a village people, not to quote.
Yeah.
For my community, that will be a reference that people get. But yes, it's sort of, wow, this is like, you need a tribe of people. And who's to say that also can't include some very healthy sexual expression?
Yeah. Do you know, we call them vanillas, people that are not in the lifestyle. I don't have any vanilla friends anymore. All my friendships are based from the lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what people find from my own experiences and my friendship circles and kind of the people that I talk to. Friendships come first. It's the people you can just hang with, have that comfortable silence with, and the sex is just a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. A good bonus.
Great bonus.
But yeah, and that's so your own friendship circle, you say, is now predominantly with people that are ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah.
Or, in your experience, was that a difficult transition? Did you lose friends? Were family supportive? Can you tell me just a bit about that part of the journey?
Yeah, so that was kind of, I remember to say we were doing TikToks, we was very naive thinking that our colleagues, friends and family would know. And the one day that really hit me, the Daily Star did an article on us. And we was in Nottingham actually going to this social.
Okay.
For couples and singles, and this girl called me up who I used to work with. She went, Gage, how you doing? I was like, cool. I went, I'm not being called in, right? She was like, no, but I just want to give you a heads up because no one's saying anything. She went, everyone has read the Daily Star. She went, are you aware? What? She went, you're in the Daily Star. All the lads at work have read it. They're all kind of like, it's military banter. It's all military banter. Nothing vicious, like malicious being said or anything. But I just wanted to let you know so you don't come in with any surprises. And that gave me a sucker punch, that did, because it was an element of how, I had this, this blanket of shame and embarrassment over me. I don't know why I did, but I think it was you've been found out. I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Or something.
It's like being outed, right? Like, maybe even though like I was naive thinking I'll do social media, but it was Olivia. It was Olivia that was in front of the camera. I was never in front of the camera. I was always behind it. But yeah, I think it was almost like I'd been outed when I wasn't ready to be, despite me doing the social media videos. And that's just how I felt. Olivia had a friend of 20 years. And at first she was kind of like, okay. And then her mum found out. And because her mum disagreed, she kind of took that side and was like, and then call it quits with a friendship. And that's 20 years of friendship right there, thick and thin. And that hit Olivia. We said, listen, we're just going to have to tell our family. And we went over to Olivia's mum's and we both walked in and it was like, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I'm not ready to come out, but we have to say something. Long story short, I absolutely shit it. I left it with Olivia. I ran off, and Olivia was saying, listen, I'm bisexual, and this is what we do. And we do TikToks, and we educate people around it. And we are changing relationships. We are saving marriages, and we are, directing people to safe places where they can explore this, where there was no information before. We're making a positive difference. And I remember calling my mum, and for me, that was kind of difficult. Because how do you start? It's your own mother, right? And I went, Mum, I'm just going to say this very straight. I'm going to be really transparent with you. Me and Olivia, we're non-monogamous and we create TikTok videos and we teach people. And she went, Gage, I will stop you right there. And my heart just dropped into my stomach. And she turned around and she went, Gage, I've been following you for a long time and I absolutely adore your videos. And I was like, oh my God, that is such a relief, And all our family have said, listen, you are not hurting anyone. I don't know what's going on, but we've seen you the most happiest ever, like recently in the past couple of years, than any other time. So you're not hurting anyone. If you're happy, we're good. And for us, that gives us that kind of like validation to go, do you know what? Let's double down on what we're doing. Let's double down. We don't care. And we just kind of, we run with it.
That's a really beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, because actually my heart was going there and I was like, oh, I hope it's a happy story. And it turned out to be that, while you were sharing that with me, I was thinking, I was like, you're happy, but you're trying to tell people in your life that there's something that I guess puts you in somewhat a different category in some respects. Coming out personally as a gay man, I was relating to what you were saying, and like you having to tell someone something that's potentially going to cause them to reject you or ostracize you. And actually what you're in essence doing is saying, this is who I am. Please, I hope to God you say that you still love me for it.
Yeah, and do you know what? Stuff. When you talk about like in the gay community as well, I always used to have the mindset of like, when people see this thing coming out, I'm like, what's the big deal, bro? Like, you're not hurting anybody. Like, go live your life, But until I actually lived that experience for myself, I didn't realize how difficult it kind of would be, right? Of showing your truth. And you do look at other people and how they judge you and your friends and your family, but they think it's wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. We're just living our true lives, right? But I get it. And I get it. I'm glad I had that experience as well. Just kind of share knowledge and feelings. So when people are doing the same thing, but I get messages all the time. Hey, Gage, we're going to come out to our friends and family. Any advice? I'm like, why? Well, we love it that much. We just want to tell everyone about it. I'm like, cool. Do you tell people when you and your husband or you and your wife have sex anyway? No.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Well, it's your private life. You don't have to come out. No one has to come out. It depends how much you feel like you're struggling, right? But if you're happy with, not coming out and everything's normal, you don't have to come out. There's something nice about telling a white lie to, where did you go to the weekend? Engagement party. But it wasn't. It was like, 7 deep in an orgy. There's something bliss about it.
And look, I think we're allowed to have a private life. I suppose the difference is you and Olivia, it sounds like, felt that you were compelled to say, because of the social media element to it, and then you like found yourself both becoming ambassadors and advocates for this lifestyle and positive talk about this kind of lifestyle and helping people navigate this kind of lifestyle. That's not going to be everyone's experience. So a lot of people will probably experience it more privately. So I like the fact that you're cautioning people and like, what are you coming out for? I guess.
It's not
because
always
you're so excited right now and you just want to go, I want to tell everyone about what I've discovered. Whoa. Let's just like breathe.
Slow down. Slow
it down. Like maybe wait a bit and see whether or not, because it's a great example of like, would you tell your parents every time you have sex?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't really, unless you're in one of those very open family type relationships. But it's good to exercise caution. You are allowed a private life. You don't have to disclose everything about what you're into sexually. You're not hurting anyone, like you say. So it's about just looking at the wider picture, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you can get lost in a fantasy, can't you, when you're so happy and joyful with everything. But it depends what you want out of it. It's kind of, if you don't care what people think and you're like, I don't rely on anybody, like I pay my own bill, I'm not relying on anyone. Do what you want to do, but you've got to look at the bigger picture of other families and kind of like how they have an effect on your life. And if you rely on people, can that damage relationships in the future and kind of like screw yourself over? Like you've just got to just kind of really put a pipeline in. Is it worth it for you? If not, keep it to yourself.
Very subjective, I guess, and give yourself some time to process things and observe, think about what the potential impacts are going to be. Talk about it with close, trusted individuals, and think, if I say this, is it going to change things? So I completely see the merit of maybe not just rushing in and having a coming out party. It's like, hey, we're non-monogamous.
Yeah.
But I really want to, because it feels like your story is it is very inspiring, but it feels like it's something that sort of evolved organically, and now I'm not sure about exactly what Swing Hub, the app, has to offer, but it feels like it's really become like a labour of love for you both.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me a bit about what Swing Hub actually is, what that provides to the community, how that came about, that kind of thing?
No, absolutely. Yeah. So SwingHub is the UK's largest social media lifestyle app for couples and singles. So if you imagine Facebook, but it's for people that are non-monogamous, swingers, polyamorous, singles, you know, it's just open to everyone that's just got an open mind to explore. That's what it comes down to. And the reason that came around, there's multiple reasons. And it actually came from a dark place. Okay. Because, you know, when me and Olivia first started and we use this website, and I won't name it, I will not give it the credit at all. It's been around for 20 years and there's no verification process. The amount of assaults that happen, you know, from meets, from that, people catfishing, is horrendous. And when me and Olivia started, that was the only place we could use. There was no other alternative. There were a point of, like, me and Olivia, what we used to do is we used to put our videos that we made on TikTok on there. We're like, hey, if we can educate on this platform, let's do it. And we had a friend that met somebody and got sexually assaulted, and we wasn't happy about it. We had a platform, we had a voice, and you know what? I'm going to speak out. I'm going to speak out. This act should do better. We put this video up and it lasted probably about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and all our accounts got banned. You know, black tape over the mouth. And we had some success with social media, and you know, we were very fortunate to kind of a decent bit of revenue. And that was my moment of going, hey, I want to do this for my friend. I'm going to do it for me and Olivia. You know, I want to do it for the community. This is what we need to. People deserve better. They need a different platform, and that's where SwingHub started. And it was a case of
born out of
frustration and anger, and kind of
and wanting to protect people's safety.
Absolutely. And you know, you can't get onto SwingHub because you have to fully verify. And even now, you know, with the online safety bill, we've got AI. It'll detect if you're a male or female. If you're a male, try to sign up as a single female account, guess what? You ain't getting on. It will ask you for your ID. That's just law anyway now, right? So there's a lot of it. We've put anti-catfish scanning technology into it. So if you're posting photos of somebody else and we've got a verification photo of you, guess what? It's gone. We've partnered with offenders.org.uk, and what they do, if nobody knows what they are, when somebody gets convicted of a sexual crime, normally what happens is, like, the pictures will be in the newspapers. Now, this website will scrape everything from everywhere and put it on display, so you can try and search for any name that you want. It will produce, you know, articles, images of this person. Every sign-up that we have is cross-reference with offenders. And very proudly, I'm really proud to say that we've taken out 8 people. 8 sex offenders that have tried to get on SwingHub, haven't got on.
There you go.
6 of them have broken the license and got sent back to prison. I don't know what happened with the other 2, but it just goes to show, like, the effort that we put into making people safe, and the people that you see, they are real.
So, proof it works. The amount of security and reassurance you can take from all of the measures that are put in place. People want that. People want to feel safe.
It's brilliant. And, you know, it's kind of still considered a startup. It's been off 20 months. We've done a few social media videos about it. It's all word of mouth, and we've got 50,000 users just with a click of a finger. And
there you go.
You know, there's elements that we put in that not many people think about. It's legal now to send an unsolicited dick pic, right? Again,
I don't think I knew that.
No, it is. Yeah, if you send it's all cyber.
There's obviously more legislation coming in about what is safe and unsafe to send, and what's.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, you send that unsolicited dick pic, AI is going to catch it. It tells us that you've done it, but we don't do anything until you report it, because you might like it. You might just like it, and if you don't, report it, and they're suspended.
Yeah. Not everyone is opposed, but a lot of people obviously don't want those things just appearing in their inbox or on their phones. But that sounds like you've been extremely ethical with setting up the app. There's so many more features. I have looked at the app, I must admit, and I've had a sort of I've looked around at the different features, and it feels like there's things to do with events, like how to get involved in all sorts of different events, not just sort of.
It's an absolute. It's your, like, number one stop to get into the lifestyle. It's you get in, you can hide in the shadows and kind of see what people are doing. You build a profile like Facebook. You can find all the events happening. You know, that's
nationwide. Is that
nationwide? Yeah. You know, you can see who's near you, who's looked at you. You can, you know, deep search to find the type of people that you want. You can actually teleport, not physically, but teleport to different parts of the country. You know, what's going on in London, what's going on in Brighton and Birmingham. If you're traveling somewhere, you can see what's happening on them timelines over there. And it was, the idea came from frustration, but it was selfishly built for me and Olivia. What do we want? What do we want? Yeah.
We want this app to be for us. And what better way to build an app, but from your subjective
And that's
experience?
how it went. It's basically Swing Hub's my vision. And it's kind of, Olivia's going, do you know what I want this? And I'm going, right, how do I make that? And then, we've got this amazing team of people. We've got Warren, who's like a genius and a CTO. We've got Kit, who she's like our head of events and COO, and she puts on the best events. We've just had a massive winter ball. We're off to go in Liverpool in July. Have you seen Channel 4 Hunted before?
I've
they
seen
chase
Hunted,
people down?
Yeah,
We're doing that in Liverpool.
I saw that advert for that on.
It's an absolute blast. We did it in London last year. So we put on events that are immersive and give you an experience. And it's not all about the sex. It's really not. It's about connecting. It's about meeting new people, visiting new places.
Making friends,
Making friends, and the sex will naturally come. Yeah,
no
and we just have an amazing team of people. And we've got 30 people on the Swing Hub team now.
That's a big team. Yeah.
It's a big team because people just want to come and just want to go. One thing that really brings a tear to my eye is I live Swing Hub day in, day out. I see, I see numbers and digits on a screen. But when people go, hey, Gage, I want to join your team because you're making a difference. That's what moves me, because I don't see, because I ain't got boots on the ground. I'm not seeing what's going on. I see it from a bird's eye point of view. And people want to come and join the team. They want to, promote this mission to kind of go, this is safe, this is cool, and this is like moving forward. And that's why we've grown so fast, because people believe in it and people want the same thing.
It's really exciting. I'm excited for you. I'm excited from behalf of the community. I think, wow, this is just going to grow from strength to strength. It's amazing. Something I wanted to touch on, but in terms of if people are listening to this and they think, God, this is speaking to me. I've always felt like I wanted to open the relationship or explore some form of ethical non-monogamy. Plug the app. Swing Hub seems like a great place to start. How do people even go about that? Would you go to an event? Would you there are so many different ways you could explore it, like trying to explore finding a play partner, or, where do people even start?
Okay, let me just flip this back.
Okay.
Take the lifestyle of it. Take away sex. You sat in your house, your partner, and you go, we want to make some friends. We just moved to a new town. How do you do it?
Good point. How do
you do it? You join Facebook. You get on. You go on the local groups. Yeah. You go on the local groups. Hey, we're new to town. What's happening around here?
Yeah.
And people will go, hey, welcome to X, Y, and Z. Welcome to this town. Welcome to this village. There's something going on in the pub. Come and join us. And it's the same in the lifestyle. You join Swing Hub. You can join different pages. Every time you post, it goes into your local area. Hey, we're brand new. What's the deal? What's going on? And people will respond. People will tell you where the best places they go, the best events that they attend. And you naturally, people start messaging each other in the DMs, and it builds.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, be visible, explore, make connections, ask questions.
Be curious.
And be curious, and that journey will probably take on a life of its own. Another thing I just wanted to touch on very quickly as well is that it's not just for couples. Singles are just as welcome in that community as people in.
Let me tell you something. Remember when I was talking about unicorns?
Yeah.
Well, Swing Hub has a lot of women now, because, from the TikTok videos that Olivia's done, about female positivity, body positivity, and kind of women just being strong. And if, not sex shaming or kink shaming women, if they want sex, they're not sluts, they're not whores. Absolutely not. You're human. And you deserve to have sex as much as anybody else. And people see these videos, and we do go, hey, come at Swing Up, it is safe. And we find more and more women coming on board to do it. Single guys as well, more than welcome. We've got gay couples, we have trans men and women, people that are gender fluid or just recognise however they want to recognise, joining it. However, my future plans is I want to take Swing Hub into the gay community, the same concept, because after a bit of research, I've seen that Grindr. I'm not a fan of it. I've heard some stories. So
it's
I feel
a controversial
like over there.
It's got a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. But...
So basically, we spent a lot of time and energy in building these safety tools, and we just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to use them.
And there's a dating app that I've seen recently that started to put on joint. I can say it. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong by saying it. Tinder, you can put like a joint account on now. So it feels like, I don't know if that's quite the same thing, but Grindr, people tend to just advertise if they're in a couple. Some people do, not everyone. But it's starting to change. People are starting to build the apps that open up the world for ethical non-monogamy options. I know, for at least on Tinder, which I don't mind saying I'm on that app, there's options to put ethical non-monogamy, polyamory, open relationship. That wasn't there, I don't know how many months or years ago. So things are changing.
The UK, I'd say past 2 years, has seen this incredible boom. And it is thanks to Open House on Channel 4. But you know, the truth is, you put the word swinging in anything and about non-monogamous, people are just so curious because your next door neighbor could be a swinger and you just don't know it. You just don't know it. And people do watch it. It's watchable content. It's engaging. It's about sex that everybody loves. You know, you get some weird and wonderful characters sometimes, you know, showing it. You get some really professional people. Let me tell you something, right?
It's indiscriminate, isn't it? It's anybody could be into it, anyone.
Do you know what? Do you know what blows my mind? And I don't feel like I want to call anybody out here, but it is what it is. Do you know the number one jobs after, this is from my own little research, and this is obviously not statistical. I've met a lot of people, and like, I'm not talking about having sex with them, but just meeting, having conversations. It's like, what do you do? Do you know like the top jobs that I've come across?
Go on.
Police, fire service, and paramedics, ambulance service. And when you ask people what they do for work, you know, I've come to the conclusion of high pressure jobs, they swing, because what I found is that they use it as an escapism. It's the one thing that can just get that energy going, that adrenaline rush, and just take them out of the world and whatever they've seen on the day or last week, that's kind of gone. The lifestyle takes them to a different world.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It
transforms all of that into something.
The amount of people that have professional jobs in the lifestyle will blow your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe it completely. I mean, I'm part of the kink community in some ways, and I think it's just something about healthy expression, escapism, and open, positive environment that for a lot of people that find life just generally very, very stressful can be held in these communities in a way that, I don't know, it's difficult to replicate in sort of maybe a smaller, it's me and my partner and just our next door neighbors and the close people. It's like, this is a wide community.
No, absolutely.
And the connections are profound, and they are, it's another way to feel like you are connected. And I suppose it's, in my mind, it's just transmuting all of that stress, all of that energy into having fun, having a laugh, being safe, being seen, being held. I mean, what's better than that?
Exactly.
You know, and if it's such a tiny community, it's not that I'm judging people that are monogamous, not at all, but it just feels a little less likely. Like, who have you got to lean on? If one or two people aren't around, well, who else is there?
And I think I always say this about people that kind of like judge non-monogamy, because we took a brunt when we first started. My God, we took a brunt. But you can understand it. You know, people, monogamous people, they're on a life treadmill if you think about it. You know, it's kind of get up, go work, take the kids to school, work, come back, have dinner, watch a bit of TV, go to bed, get up, go work, take the kids to school. You know, it's this constant cycle where there's nothing actually coming out. People live for the weekend, they might go out with their friends, or they might spend time with the family, but there's not enough kind of space that they've got for themselves to think about other things like the lifestyle and how big the world is itself. So, yeah.
Any resources, any books that you can think of? I mean, I will mention the one that I've come across in my professional work. I'm a therapist by profession. As soon as I read Ethical Slut, my whole world was completely and utterly changed.
Do you know what?
Have you read it?
Book. I've not read it. I've got the book, and I've been like, I should read it. I really, really should. But you know what? I like hearing about other people's stories. I've literally got so much time of kind of going, tell me, how did you get here? Because each and everyone's experience is different. And I think, reading a book's great. It really, really is. And I won't judge it. But I'm more of a fan of like people. I'd rather read
and
people.
And you've got your podcast as part of the Swing Hub setup, haven't you? You can access
absolutely,
your podcast. Yeah.
And that's just about my Olivia's story. And we talk about just our lifestyle journey in general.
It's brilliant, by the way.
Fence while she was like, it's humor. It's educating, but with comedy and humor, right?
So you can have a serious conversation and have fun about talking about it as well. But they're great episodes. I haven't seen them all, but I really like that podcast element. It's personable, it's fun, it's welcoming. So that's definitely part of it. So books aren't for everyone, but some people do like to go away and educate themselves. So for me, Ethical Slut is one of the best books out there in terms of completely opening up my mind to everything we've talked about today, really. And what it really emphasizes is the importance of having open and honest and effective communication with people.
100%. Yeah.
100%. And that's like the cornerstone of it for me. But at being a therapist, I'm always very much sex positive. I ask clients that I work with couples, I'm like, are you in a monogamous relationship? Do you want to be in a monogamous relationship? Have you thought about not being in a monogamous relationship? So I have to be very careful as a therapist not to push my agenda onto people. But I will ask that as an active conversation. I'll say, look, this isn't the only social construct of a relationship. In fact, there are many, many other variations. And so a lot of couples that do come to see me are monogamous, but I'm always asking that conversation. I'm always bringing that up in conversation, especially if it's about sex and different libidos. And, you know, people have been in a sexless relationship for a long time. How it's not just about chaos and just go and spice up by bringing someone in. It's seriously think about whether or not this fits your needs.
Yeah, you know? That actually just put a little light bulb thing. I had an experience with a guy online he messaged me and he wanted his wife to go and play solo. He wanted that kind of like that feeling that I was speaking about before. They've spoken about it, but just the actual act of doing something is super, super crazy. And I said, hey, you're looking at the full staircase and you're not even looking at the first step right now. I went, try this. What about she just messages other guys first?
Okay.
Just let her just message, and then every day just check in. You can read them together. Nothing's like being kept behind. Let me tell you something. They started doing that, and that was the first step of kind of getting that feeling. And I think they're currently riding that wave of her messaging and sending pictures to other men. But that's the first step. And then, you know, the next one is like, hey, we've arranged to go for a drink with one of them, and it's just a drink. It's just a kind of, but that's another step, you know. And people look at the full staircase and go, oh my God, I can't.
I think it's quite natural as human beings to, not on purpose, but we overwhelm ourselves with like thinking about the end result. First step.
First step. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
And then when you're on that first step, have a breather, have a think about it. It's like, do I feel like going up the next one? Oh, I don't know. Maybe
I'm
not.
happy here. I might stay here.
Yeah, I maybe stick for a bit and stay on this step. But Gage, this conversation has been wildly inspirational, hugely educational, and I just think it's wonderful to have such a positive conversation about ethical non-monogamy. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap up the conversation?
I think people would normally plug themselves, but I'm not. But I just want to say thank you for the invite for the podcast. I've really enjoyed myself. I've learned a little bit as well. Yeah, you're very kind, and thank you for having me.